This is Dr. Saad in front of you, and today my topic is the lower GI bleeding. As in our previous lecture, I told you that the gastrointestinal bleeding is basically divided into two types, the upper GI bleeding and the lower GI bleeding. And this division we have done on the basis of an anatomical landmark, that was basically the ligament of Treats. We have divided them on the basis of a landmark, anatomical landmark, that is called as the ligament of the Treats, that is present at the duodenojejunal flexure basically, and the bleeding above this ligament of Treats is called as the upper GI bleeding, while the bleeding below this is called as the lower GI bleeding. So today our topic is the lower GI bleeding. So basically what lower GI bleeding, simply definition, is the bleeding that is occurring below the ligament of the Treats, and in this the bleeding is basically mainly bleeding is red maroon in color. This bleeding is red maroon in color, and basically the bleeding that is red maroon in color, it is called as a hematochezia, whatever you want to pronounce it, you can pronounce, but the hematochezia is most commonly due to the lower GI bleeding, mostly due to lower GI bleeding. Here I told you in the upper GI bleeding that here melena is there. Melena is basically, you can say, dark color stool. And melena, I told you that melena can occur in upper as well as lower GI bleeding, but mostly melena occur in the upper GI bleeding. So here same is the case, that the hematochezia can occur in the both upper as well as the lower GI bleeding, but hematochezia is mostly associated with the lower GI bleeding. Clear? So they both can occur in both of them, but specific melena is more common in upper GI and hematochezia is more common in the lower GI bleeding. Now lower GI bleeding, we are going to see the causes of the lower GI bleeding. First of all, these causes are basically divided on the severity of the lower GI bleeding. What are the basically there are three main causes. First of all, we have the severe acute lower GI bleeding. The second cause, that is, you can say, chronic subacute lower GI bleeding, and the third one is the occult lower GI bleeding. Clear? So on the causes are divided on the basis of the severity of the lower GI bleeding. The first cause would be the severe acute lower GI bleeding, second would be the chronic subacute lower GI bleeding, and the third one would be the occult lower GI bleeding. Clear? Now, what are the causes of severe acute lower GI bleeding, and what is this severe acute lower GI bleeding? Basically, this is the profuse blood loss, profuse red maroon blood coming from the rectum or bleeding per rectum, that is profuse red maroon in color, and it is associated with the shock. Clear? So that is called as the severe acute lower GI bleeding, which is having these features, that is called as the severe acute lower GI bleeding. Now it is having further four causes. Number first and the most common cause of the severe acute lower GI bleeding is the diverticular disease. Diverticular disease is the most common cause of the severe acute lower GI bleeding. Then we have the angiodysplasias, that is basically the arteriovenous malformations. Diverticular disease, you all know that diverticulum is basically the outpouching, so that is the most common cause. And the upper GI bleeding most common cause was the peptic ulcer disease. Clear? This is the diverticular disease, angiodysplasias. Then once again we have the Meckel's diverticulum. This we will be discussing separately, Meckel's diverticulum. And then we have the bowel ischemia. This occurred due to the inferior mesenteric artery, due to the occlusion of the blockage of inferior mesenteric artery. These are the basic four causes of the severe acute lower GI bleeding. Then we have the chronic subacute lower GI bleeding. In this, it is not associated with the shock and it is chronic loss of the blood. So here we have causes like the anal diseases, specifically anal diseases, and those includes, for example, fissures. We have hemorrhoids. They are basically the anal diseases, and they are included in the chronic subacute lower GI bleeding. So then we have the carcinoma is also included here in the chronic subacute lower GI bleeding. Clear? So these are the causes of chronic subacute. Now what is occult lower GI bleeding? Occult lower GI bleeding means the blood is not seen with the naked eye in the rectum. You can say there is no bleeding per rectum, there is no blood seen with the naked eye, but still if you are seeing it on the microscopy, so on the microscopy you can see the blood, and the blood breakdown products are seen on the microscopy. So here occult lower GI bleeding, I told you meaning of the occult lower GI bleeding is that the blood is not visible by the naked eye, but it is seen on the microscope. So this is the occult, and the most common cause of the occult lower GI bleeding is the cecal carcinoma. Remember this thing. Most common cause is the cecal carcinoma. Clear? So this is your basically these are your causes of the lower GI bleeding: severe acute, chronic, subacute, and the occult GI bleeding. Now this one thing more I have to tell you about the occult lower GI bleeding, that this occult lower GI bleeding, how the patient will present to you and how you will diagnose it. Basically there would be unexplained iron deficiency anemia to the patient. Means that you have ruled out all the causes of the iron deficiency anemia, but still the patient is saying that I am having, or he is complaining of the symptoms of the iron deficiency. So you have to then rule out, you have to do the workup of the cecal carcinoma in order to means rule out this also, that if it may, because this cecal carcinoma is also one of the cause of the iron deficiency anemia. Patient can present with you, and this is the unexplained iron deficiency anemia. Whenever the patient comes to you with this complaint, unexplained iron deficiency anemia, you will be suspecting it at a cecal carcinoma, and then you will do the workup of this cecal carcinoma. Is that clear? Now we are moving on towards the investigations. One thing very important to remember here, that in the investigations of the lower GI bleeding, first thing what you will do, first thing what you are gonna do in the investigation, first thing is that you have to rule out the upper GI bleeding first. This is very important, because I told you that obviously blood in the stool, it can be due to the upper as well as to the lower GI bleeding. So in the cases of the lower GI bleeding, if the patient is complaining to you with the blood in the stool, first of all you have to rule out the upper GI bleeding simply by doing the endoscopy. First of all you will do upper GI endoscopy. So first thing you have done this upper GI endoscopy. After that, second thing, similarly you will do the lower GI endoscopy. Clear? So first thing you are going to do is the upper GI endoscopy, then you will do the lower GI endoscopy, and if still you can't find anything on this endoscopy, then you will do the another endoscopy, that is called as the capsule endoscopy. Now what is capsule endoscopy? Basically in this what happens, that a capsule is there and a camera is inserted in that capsule, and that capsule means the patient is asked to take that capsule. That capsule visualizes those areas of the intestine that cannot be visualized by this endoscopy, simple endoscopy. So those areas that are not visualized by the simple endoscopy, they can be means visualized by the capsule endoscopy. Means those complex areas can be visualized by the capsule endoscopy. So when you are not finding anything in the upper and the lower GI endoscopy, then you will do the capsule endoscopy. Then obviously you have to do the colonoscopy. Why you are doing colonoscopy? In order to rule out your diverticular disease, in order to rule out the colorectal carcinoma, in order to rule out ulcerative colitis, Crohn's disease. So you have to do the colonoscopy also in the patients. Clear? Then for the Meckel's diverticulum, what you are going to do? You will do the Meckel's tactinium scan is there, that is for the specific for the Meckel's diverticulum. Then you are also going to do the arteriography arteriography. If you wanna find the exact vessel, which vessel is bleeding, so with the specific vessel that is bleeding can be visualized by the arteriography, but this is done just before the surgery in order to just specify the vessel, that which vessel is bleeding. So these are the basic investigations that you are going to do in this case of the lower GI bleeding. After that, what is the treatment of the lower GI bleeding? Treatment is same as that of the upper GI bleeding, just specific treatments are different. Treatment, first thing what you have done in the upper GI bleeding, first thing you have passed the large IV bore cannula, that same you will pass here. Then you have done the baseline investigations, that was the CBC, urea creatinine electrolytes, LFTs, KFTs, these all the investigations you have done in the upper GI bleeding, same here you will do. Then you will do the resuscitation of the patient, you will do the initial assessment of the patient, then you will resuscitate, means you will do the volume replacement therapy in that patient. So after doing this all, after doing the initial investigation, we work up all the, you have done the resuscitation, now you will treat the specific cause. For example, you have find that on the colonoscopy you have find that this is a diverticular disease. Clear? So all the initial steps are done. Now the specific measures for the diverticular disease you will take those steps. Specific measures, basically what happens that the bleeding stops spontaneously. What happens that many of the times what happens that the bleeding of the diverticular disease, it stops spontaneously, but if that bleeding it does not stop spontaneously, then you have to do the surgical resection of that segment. Surgical resection of that segment. Clear? This is the specific treatment for the diverticular disease. Then if there is bowel ischemia, so bowel ischemia resection is, in the bowel ischemia cases the resection is only indicated when the patient has developed the peritonitis. Clear? Then otherwise you will not do the resection of that patient. So any specific disease is there, so you will treat the disease accordingly. If there is cecal carcinoma, then you will treat it as a specific you will treat it as a cecal carcinoma, that we will be discussing in the further lectures about how you will treat the cecal carcinoma, then how you will treat the fissures, or how you will treat hemorrhoids, how you will treat the further carcinomas. They all have different surgical treatments are there that we will be discussing in our surgical lectures. But here according to the medicine, just remember that we have to manage initially the patient, you have to manage the patient initially of the lower GI bleeding, and you must know the causes of the lower GI bleeding and the upper GI bleeding according to the medicine lectures. Clear? So this was all about the lower GI bleeding, upper GI bleeding, and simply the gastrointestinal bleeding. We have covered upper as well as the lower. We have done the causes of lower GI bleeding. We have done the investigations what you are going to do in the lower GI bleeding, and how you will treat the lower GI bleeding basically. So if you have any query, any confusion, you can ask in the comment section. Thank you so much. Allah Hafiz.